All right, it's time for Yogi and the Beach Man. Hi, I'm Jim the Yogi.
And I'm Rick Beach, the Beach Man.
We're two Michigan transplants now living in Southwest Florida.
In fact, we're cousins born in 1964, just a month apart.
I like to meditate.
And I like to play bass in a band.
I'm into chanting Om.
And I'm into throwing down some classic rock.
But together, we're on a mission
to promote people that are helping other people.
We want to make the world a better place.
One conversation at a time.
So sit back,
turn up the volume,
and get ready to laugh.
Because we like to have fun
while we spread the love.
Interviewing lovely people. Yes, we have fun.
Welcome to Yogi and the Beach Man. Today we're here with Olivier Mankondo. Olivier is a professional speaker, author, weight loss and wellness coach. He's the creator of the 3-Step Weight Loss and Wellness Program. And he's also written a book, The Plant-Based Nutrition, How It's Going to Change Your Life. Olivier, I am Jim, the Yogi.
And I'm Rick Beach, the Beach Man. Nice to meet you.
And welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here.
We're grateful to have you. So where are you coming to us from?
I'm coming from the UK, precisely in Manchester.
Manchester, in the UK. I heard that they have a football there, huh?
Yes, they've got a great football team, yes.
The big thing there, right?
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
Oh, is that where Manchester United is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even put that two and two together there.
Yeah, big football town. Where are you from originally?
Yes, I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo in Central Africa.
Oh, very cool.
How long you been in the UK?
24 years.
Okay. Well, you don't look that old, so that's probably most of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually 54.
Are you really?
Wow, you look phenomenal.
Yes.
You do. You look very young.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us about yourself. You're doing all this work with weight loss, how you got into it, why? We'd love to hear about it.
So basically what's happened is that like I just said, I grew up in Africa, and when I was growing up, there was no computer games, no video games and stuff like that. So we were forced to play outside, running around, climbing trees and stuff like that. So when I was growing up, I was very lean. I was not exposed to too many animal product, dairy product and processed food. And it's only when I left my country, first went to South Africa and then to the UK. And that's when all my problems started. I was really had a lot of animal product to eat. For example, in the morning for the breakfast, I will have bacon, hot dog, sausages, eggs, and stuff like that. So I ate every meal. I had to have some kind of animal product.
Can we slow down a second and let me ask a question here?
Yeah.
Just so I can keep it straight. So you grew up in the Congo. You were eating very well, right? Mainly plant-based, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, but were you eating meat at that time?
Yes, I was eating meat at that time, yes, but it was different in the sense that, for example, if we had to eat a chicken, you kill the chicken, or if you have to eat goat, you kill it. It was not like in Europe where a lot of all these animals are pumped up with antibiotics.
Right.
They don't eat the right food and stuff like that. Yeah, that was the main difference.
So now you moved to the UK at about what age?
When I moved to the UK, I was 30.
Or did your issues start when you moved to South Africa, or after that in the UK?
So in South Africa, it was the start. I started to put on weight, but in South Africa, I only spent a year. So most of my time I was here in the UK. So I spent a year in South Africa and 24 years in the UK. So I left my country 25 years ago.
And is the food in South Africa, is that more like we see in the West or in England where you're at, where it's more processed?
Yeah, it was exactly the same like in the UK. Exactly the same, yeah.
All right.
So you went from a really good diet. Now you're kind of half and half, but you're young and you probably don't care, and hey, this stuff tastes good, so let's roll. And you start getting fat.
Yes. I
Okay.
started
Putting
to
on
get
weight.
fat. Yeah, I started, yeah, starting to put on weight because I had developed a lot of bad eating habits. So, for example, at midnight, I will still have my bottle of Coca-Cola with some biscuits, some cakes, and stuff like that. So that's how I'm starting to really, really become sick.
Mm.
And what kind of health issues were you having?
Yeah, so I was suffering from high blood pressure, and people need to understand that high blood pressure is a very dangerous disease, and 50% of people who suffer from heart attacks and cardiovascular diseases, it's because of the high blood pressure. So I even remember there was a day when around 3 a.m., my blood pressure went through the roof, and my wife had to call the ambulance to come and pick me up. So I was suffering from high blood pressure. I had massive headaches every day or every other day. And in fact, I had to have some painkillers in my wallet all the time because of that. Dandruff, chest pain, back pain, abscesses, joint pain, and a lot of dental problems with all my bad eating habits. So I would say every 2 to 3 months I had to see the dentist. And as well, apart from that, I was always tired as well. For example, on the day where I had to go to work, I will drag myself out of bed. And on the day where I was not going to work, I will sleep until 1 p.m. So basically, that's all the kind of situation I was going through.
So
this
you
happened that quickly? I mean, within a few
Sorry?
years.
what kind of time frame? What kind of time frame we talking about here? From the time you got to South Africa to the time where you were starting to know that something was not right with your body, and not, hey man, I'm not good here.
I think it took, I would say something like 10 years because
Okay.
I left my country. It was in 1999, and I was first diagnosed with high blood pressure. It was in 2014.
Happens quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's really what I keep asking these questions because I've really been delving into this subject deep for probably the past 6-8 months. So I've really become educated on, well, and the more you find out and the more educated you get on this subject, which is the processed foods and all the stuff that we're going to get into through this conversation. And as I learn more, I realize how much I just don't know. And gets so deep and dense and but you are your own control group. Because when you were in the Congo, you were eating right and eating probably like we eat today, you and me and Jim.
Or how we should eat.
Or how we should eat. But it's still so difficult, as you well know. So now, did any of your doctors, as you're having these health issues, put this together? I already know the answer, but go ahead.
Not at all. Not at all. They didn't put that together because when I went, what they told me is that basically, as you're getting older, that's normal. People need to suffer from all these things. And they told me that they were going to put me on medication for the rest of my life. But luckily for me, I refused, even though I didn't know what I know now. But I found it very odd to be on medication for the rest of my life. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he told me, okay, so what are you going to do? I said, I will try to do some martial arts so that maybe my blood pressure will go down. And I joined a karate club. I was there for 4 years, but my blood pressure didn't change. So the doctor, basically for them, it was a medication and all that. They never talked about diet or lifestyle and stuff like that. It was just medication.
That's just amazing. And it's also amazing that most people in your same situation will just say, oh, well, the doctor said it's, because of my age, and that's fine. I'll get on these medications and just.
I did it for 20 years.
Did you?
I'm 60. JP and I are the same age. We're both 60.
We're both 60.
We're cousins, so we've known each other our whole lives. We grew up together.
We're a month apart.
Yeah. And when I was probably in my mid 30s, I, started taking annual physicals, and now I have a kid, and, I have a job and responsibility, mortgage, all this stuff. Hey, I got to go see my doc. Oh, you got high blood pressure. Okay, well, here, they put me on metaprolol, I think.
Beta blocker.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it did, didn't care. All I knew, but I was in good shape. I was 106, I'm 5'9", 160 pounds and at the time. But I just had high blood pressure. No, never was there
Change your
Hey,
lifestyle.
hey,
Yeah.
why don't you maybe look at eating? Hey, you have hibiscus in Florida. Why don't you pluck the flowers and make hibiscus tea? One of the best lowering blood pressure things out there. Stuff like that. And so anyway, go on. It's funny because I know the answers to these questions even before I ask them.
Yeah.
But what is kind of what I didn't know is that the South African and the UK medical establishment was as pharmaceutical driven as we are here. So now you're enlightening me to that fact. So
Yeah.
Any place the Western world has gotten involved, and it just becomes about money, and it's sad. People's health goes
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
your health went down. You started to get sick. They wanted to put you on prescriptions. Your blood pressure's high, and the martial arts wasn't taking care of it. So what was your next step?
Yeah, so basically I was lost. I was now just buying the medication, over-the-counter medication when I was feeling bad, or when I was my body was aching. I would just go and buy the medication over the counter, and the situation was not changing. So out of the blue, I was just watching one day a program on YouTube, and there was
Love
an
YouTube.
Indian yogi. Yeah.
Okay.
There was an Indian yogi who suggested
Yeah.
that by stopping eating animal product, it was possible to reverse 70% of the chronic diseases. And because at that time my health was pretty bad, I said, okay, I'm not losing anything. I will just try that. So it was a Wednesday that I watched the program. On Thursday, I came back from work. I had my last piece of meat, and on Friday, I went cold turkey. And what's happened is that the following week, my situation got worse. I had massive headache for 3 days that I've never had in my entire life. I had more cold sore. My joints started to ache even more. And my wife even asked me to stop there. I said, no, I'm going to continue with that. And what people need to understand is that when you change abruptly your lifestyle, just like me, the body will start trying to detoxify itself, and the situation can get worse because the body will try to dump toxin in your bloodstream to try and get rid of all these toxins. And usually people will feel bad, and they will say, no, it's not working, and they will stop and they will revert back to what they was doing. But luckily for me, I was adamant. I said, no, I'm going to continue. And after a week, all these detox symptoms completely disappeared. I had a lot of mental clarity. All the tiredness was completely gone. And 4 months into me changing my way of eating, I went back to see my doctor, and my blood pressure was completely gone, even though he told me that I will be on medication. I will be on medication for the rest of my life. And what is really bizarre is that when he asked me, what did you do? I said, I changed my lifestyle. And for him, it was not even, it didn't even click. It just said, okay, it's like I was just talking rubbish. And after 9 months, basically I was able to lose 77 pounds, and all my chronic disease completely disappeared. And one benefit as well of what this lifestyle has done for me is I've been able to reverse my aging process, because a lot of time when I'm working and stuff, people think that I'm in my late 20s, but just like I've told you, I'm 54. So that's the
I've seen
benefit
before
that I've
and
been
after
able to.
photos of you on your website. And it's like, wow, it's a major transition from how you looked with all that weight and how you look now.
Yeah. So tell us, so we went kind of through your background. So what is your eating habit? You're vegan, vegetarian? How would you classify this?
I'm vegan. I'm vegan, but
what's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian?
The vegetarian, they don't eat animal products, but they will continue to eat dairy products like yogurt, milk, cheese, and all these things. But when you're vegan, you don't eat any animal product. You don't eat all the dairy products. And the difference between me and most vegan is that a lot of vegans, they eat a lot of vegan processed food. But for me, I'm trying to be whole food. So I tend not to eat too many processed food. So when I eat processed food, it's very limited. So that's the big difference between me and most vegans.
Yeah, a lot of vegans and vegetarians eat a lot of soy-based products or meat substitutes. They have a lot of soy in them. And I did that. I was a vegetarian for 20 years. And at first I was eating a lot of soy-based products. And then a nutritionist that I used to bring into my yoga studio told us about how bad those are, how much estrogen is in soy, how much preservatives, how much chemicals are going into this, you know, meat substitute products.
Yeah.
And I immediately quit eating them. Yeah,
Yeah.
not good for you.
Yeah. And unfortunately
So
for
Jim,
a lot of vegan, that's what they do.
were you
Yeah.
a vegetarian or a vegan?
I was a vegetarian.
So you were eating cheese and eggs and
Yes. Yeah.
and milk.
Yeah. And actually, I guess, what's the term when you eat a little bit of fish? A pescatarian? Because
Yeah,
occasionally I would eat a little
pescatarian,
bit of
yes, yeah.
fish. Yeah. Yep. So,
But I could see how just cold turkey would. I could see how that would just cause all those toxins just to leach out and you feel like crap. Because if you, I've went the opposite in the past. I'm about 165 pounds right now, and at one point, maybe 3 years ago, I was like 207. So I had just a big old fat beer gut and was just starting to get to be a fat old man. And I'm like, no more of this. So then I investigated keto. So I went opposite you, and I just went pure cold turkey
protein.
meat only. And man, I was digging it. I had the same results.
Interesting.
I had the same results that you just said. I felt better. My blood pressure went down, and I cut out all sugars
Oh, it's a big change.
and all carbs. So I would eat, hamburger or steak and carrots and broccoli, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped it all in about 3 or 4 months. Now I'm just kind of semi that, but I think the big evil is the processed foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you look at as a race, 51% of what we eat is processed food, 42% are animal product, and only 7% are fruit and vegetables. And unfortunately, in those 7%, the majority is potatoes. And when you look at all these processed food, they are full of additive, coloring, flavoring, preservative, which are chemical substances not recognized by the body. And they create a lot of havoc in the human mechanism.
Yeah, and potatoes absorb a lot of they're like, especially white potatoes are one of the worst vegetables you can eat. They do absorb a lot of toxins from the ground, and they're just all starch. Not the best thing for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't eat a lot of potatoes because I try to stay not a lot of carbs,
Mm-hmm.
but I do love them. I mean, so if I was going to if I was going to go to the grocery store and buy the healthiest potato other than a sweet potato, what would you guys recommend?
A sweet potato.
Oh, okay. I just don't
Yeah,
like
but
them.
me too. I do like potatoes. I do like potatoes.
Yeah.
But they're good in so you're just so what's your normal what's a day of Olivier's diet? What
Yeah,
in the
so
vegan
over
world?
the years, things has changed because at the beginning I was mostly eating cooked food, but for the past 3 years I'm eating more raw food. So I'm 98% raw, and I only eat 2% of cooked food. So usually I only eat twice a day. I do intermittent fasting, so I will only eat at 12 noon. I will just have fruit, and at 6 p.m. I will have another meal. And because in a week I've got 14 meals, so 12 will be only fruit, and 2 will be salad. And with my salad, I can have a little bit of tofu, a little bit of sometimes I will have a little bit of potatoes, boiled potatoes. Sometimes as well I would have a little bit of mushrooms, broccoli, and stuff like that. But mostly now what I eat is raw food.
Excellent.
We had a raw food lady on about a month, Ellen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ellen.
Ellen, and she had been raw food for
40 years.
40
Yeah.
years or so.
And she's our age and looks fantastic.
Yeah, she looks great
Yeah.
and is healthy, and
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have any arguments against her. I'm not skeptical of how vegans and or vegetarians do their thing. it's not for me because I
Yeah.
just, but I'm certain that there's health benefits, and
Oh, yeah.
I just, how is there like a support system in your area? Do you hang out with other vegans and have that go, and you guys share
No.
recipes and stuff, or
No, unfortunately,
nothing like
there's
that
not.
at all?
No, there are not many vegans that I know, and in fact, in all my friends, my family, apart just from my brother, but all the people that I know, none of them are vegans. None of them are vegans. So I had to really fend for myself, trying to read a lot of books, buy vegan recipe books and stuff like that, just to educate myself. But I didn't have a supporting community apart from my family, because my wife as well, she when she saw that my way of eating was changing, because when I started, I didn't want to force them to follow me. It's just after 2 weeks, she saw that my health was getting better, and she said that she was going to do that as well. And for her, it was even better, because she was able to lose 99 pounds. And
Wow.
after a month, we sat our kids and we told them that we were going to start being vegan. And at first, they were not happy. They was really, really unhappy. But today, they really thank me for that. Because, for example, when you look at one of my sons, he had eczema for 11 years. We saw doctors, they prescribed all sorts of creams, but there were no changes. But when we adopted this plant-based nutrition, it only took 2 weeks for his entire eczema to disappear completely. I've also
That's
got my
amazing.
daughter. Yeah, she 2 to 3 times a year she will have the flu, and sometimes she will even lose her voice. But since adopting this plant-based nutrition, it's completely gone. And in fact, in my family now, it's difficult for us to become sick. And personally, myself, for the past 8 years, I've not been sick a single day. And for the past 9 years, I've not taken a single pill, not even an aspirin or paracetamol. So that's the benefit that I've been able to reap from adopting this plant-based nutrition.
Very good. How old were your children when you switched them over to the vegan diet?
The oldest was, because it was in 2016, the oldest was 18, and the youngest was 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
18 and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Who did you get more grief from, the
The
older
18-year-old.
one or the younger one?
The older ones,
Yeah.
because for the younger one, it was okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today is 13, and it doesn't even remember the taste of meat.
That's very good.
I was recently listened to I listened to a lot of really boring stuff, and I've been listening to a U.S. Senate hearing the last couple of days. It's about 4 hours long, about all the chemicals in our foods and the differences between what we have here, the slow poisoning of everybody in the United States by the processed food industry, and how it differs from Europe, where in the UK and Europe, there's about 400 different processed food chemicals allowed. Here, there's over 10,000.
Wow.
When a processed food manufacturer wants to put something in their foods or get it okayed, the UK and Europe, they take a guilty till innocent look at things to say, okay, well, when you can show us and prove to us that this chemical you want to add to the food supply is dangerous, then or is not is not dangerous, when you can prove to us that it is safe for human consumption by whatever testing you want to do, then we'll allow it. In the US, the FDA trusts the food company, and it's innocent until proven guilty. So for the reasons that, and no one will ever fund a study to see, well, now just what, how do you say, glyphosate or glycophates, the Roundup, and how that is sprayed on basically wheat to dry it out after it's used to kill the fields.
Corn to sprout it.
And then you have genetically modified seeds that are no longer will die from Roundup. And then we wonder why
cancer so
50% of our
high.
kids are sick and chronic disease, and half the United States is fat. Is fat. I'm not. I don't really care about being politically correct. If you're fat, it's a choice. If you have, I'm in the grocery store the other day, and I'm looking at my stuff. I got about $100 worth of food. None of it, not one box, no processed food, zero, absolutely zero.
Yeah.
In front of me is a couple about my age. They're both 50 pounds heavier than me, and their entire cart was full of boxes and ice creams and bags and frozen goods that someone cooked in a factory a month and a half ago. And I just, I have decided it's my mission to wake people up on this stuff. But if someone's going to be trying to get pregnant and have a kid, and you are eating processed foods, you are literally poisoning not only yourself but the next generation. And we have no idea what these chemicals are doing to us. So I'm certain that although your diet is super duper healthy, and I commend and respect it, but I think, because once you said you're your own control group, you left the Congo, you started eating it, you got sick, you stopped, you got well. I'm a good part of it, I'm sure, is because of being a vegan, but I think most of it is from not eating the factory poison foods.
Yeah, and even when I was growing up, there were no overweight kids. I didn't know no one except one who came from the United States. So in all the neighborhoods, the only fat kids came from United States.
It really is sad. I mean, even to...
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that this information doesn't get out. I mean, it's out there in small pockets. I feel like I was lucky to hear about it. I don't know how many years ago now, 20 some years ago now or more. You heard about it, but a lot of people just have no idea. They think, oh, food's in the grocery store, must be safe. They trust the FDA, they trust the government. They don't really know how bad our food is for us.
Well, one of the guys on that Senate hearing I listened to, he finishes up his 5 minutes or whatever. He goes, if your grocery store has a health food section, then what is the rest of the store?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, it's unhealth food. It really, truly is. I only go down the aisles to pick up toilet paper and stuff, and maybe some pasta, but it's so hard to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. It costs these big companies, these big food companies, they were bought by the tobacco companies in the 90s, and they took their addiction specialists that had been working in the nicotine and the cigarette industry forever. And I smoked for 20 years, so I'm a victim, but of their manipulation. But once that, and they took their nicotine cigarette scientists and they put it over to the food side of things and said, how can we make this stuff as addictive as possible? And they succeeded.
Yeah.
It's like, I heard something the other day, like the American kids right now are getting like 70% of their calories every day from processed foods. And they're addictive. They want more. They want that. When you say at midnight you were eating, your ice cream or eating whatever you had to do at midnight. And it takes a while to get off of that habit.
It does. Yeah, your body craves that. I mean, sugar's a drug. I mean, you're craving that drug. You really are. It's hard
and that's the hardest for me. If
you tell people sugar's a drug, like, oh yeah, whatever.
It's the most addictive drug. I'm certain it's.
You talk heroin, they're like, oh, terrible, terrible drug. But you talk sugar, oh well, yeah.
Sugar's just as addictive as heroin.
Terrible for you.
Yeah,
it may be.
And people don't even know that sugar is the primary source for cancer cells.
Right.
People don't know that the refined sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. And then all the non-sugars, all the fake sugars, those are worse for you. They give you all kinds of cancers. People are like, I'll drink the sugar-free drink. No, that's even worse for you.
Well, we have an upcoming guest who's a fitness type person, and I listen to her. I'm not gonna say her name, but been listening to her podcast now for a couple months because I enjoy it. And she's like, she always talks about how she loves her Diet Coke, and I'm like, it
Yeah.
just kills me to have especially a fitness health person say, I gotta have Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to have a soda. I probably have one a month, maybe a Pepsi or a Coke, but for the most part, it's just water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for example, for me, for the past 8 years, I've not had even one bottle of Coca-Cola or
That's
things like
excellent.
that. I've stopped completely because even though they say that it's sugar-free, but they put aspartame, and
Yeah.
aspartame is a poison. It's a nerve
Yeah.
poison, and people don't even know that. And when you look, you will see that aspartame, they put that in more than 10,000 products sold in supermarkets. And this is a disgrace.
all that artificial
It
sweetener.
is.
And,
Yeah.
well, that
Yeah.
as I would, we'll have to ask our producer to look this up to verify. However, I read years ago that, or I somehow have this knowledge in my head, I don't know where it came from, that aspartame is the species of the botulism bacteria.
Interesting.
It's actually it's just gross.
Yeah, that is gross. Hey, off topic here. It's just been on my mind since you mentioned it. Do you remember the name of the yogi from India that you were watching on YouTube?
Yeah, Sadhguru.
All right, Sadhguru.
Yes, Sadhguru, yes.
I've been to a number of his programs and to his ashram in Tennessee. Remarkable,
Okay.
incredible guy.
Yeah.
I've got his books. He's changed my life for sure.
Yeah, me too. Really, at the beginning of my spiritual process, really, it's because of him. He changed me a lot. Yeah,
Very good.
and that's
Have you
why
done?
when he said that 70%, if you stop eating 70% meat, you can reverse 70% of the chronic diseases. Basically, I followed him blindly because I really, really trusted him, and
Yeah.
I've got the result.
Well,
Have you?
can you tell me and the rest of the people who have no idea who this guy is a little bit about him?
Just Sadhguru. It's spelled Sad H Guru, SADH
And
Guru.
he's
He's a guru from India. He does remarkable work. He works a lot with trying to change the mindset of leaders, politicians, corporate people. He does programs all over the U.S., all over India.
What kind of programs?
He does programs to help you learn about. He calls it self-engineering, like how to engineer your own self, your own mind. He's got different programs where he teaches Kriya meditation. He does all kinds of programs where he's building hospitals, I believe, and
Okay,
like
so he's just
planting trees.
overall good guy.
Oh, totally overall good guy. Yeah.
And okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So he's just pushing, like, I get it, the health agenda and the peace and love and helping your neighbor and feel good stuff.
Yeah, and he's very pragmatic. Yeah, it's like you listen to him and it's just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, very
Well,
very common sense.
You'll have to put me onto that guy.
I'll loan you a book.
Okay. I'll read it.
All right.
See, I'm not from this world. I'm really not. I'm from the other side. So when Jim and I started 6-8 months ago, JP says, let's start a podcast. And it had some evolutions, but we ended up in this space. And I'm really digging it because, like I said earlier, I'm deep diving into this health and wellness type space. So when I meet someone like you, and I never really considered, if I went a couple of weeks just being a vegan, how that would. But I tell you what, if I got diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, I would be that person.
Well, why not act like you are diagnosed with
Well,
cancer?
I kind of do.
Okay.
I mean, I'm moving.
You're slow. You're in the slow move towards it, but
well, I'm much closer to that than I was 5 years ago.
But let's say you were diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, you would make that change. So why not just assume, make the change?
Well,
why not?
We all know
why wait till you get cancer.
No. I don't plan on getting cancer because I eat right and I exercise and.
Well, there's obviously changes you would make.
Oh.
So then there you go.
Guilty.
He's guilty.
I am guilty.
I'm working on him. So
well, I mean, you take someone like me. I mean, I don't eat any box, any processed food. I eat really well.
Yeah.
Well, what would I change other than?
We'll get into that off the show.
Okay.
But I want to hear about your programs, because if I understand it right, you're mostly working with women, offering programs for women to lose weight.
Yeah, basically, my primary demographic is women over 30. But if there's a man who would like to work with me, I'm not going to turn him down. I'm just going to help him to do it. So basically, my program is a 3-step weight loss and wellness process. Okay. The first steps for me is the mindset, because the mindset is very, very important. And without it, basically, you're going to fail. And it's like a lot of people at the end of the year, they decide that they will stop smoking, they will lose weight and stuff like that. They will do that for 3-4 weeks at maximum, and then they will revert back to the old habits. It's because of the mindset. They don't have the right mindset. They basically, in my program, what I will teach people to have the winning mindset and to believe that the change is possible. Because for most people, as soon as you tell them, for example, that you will have to cut down on meat, or you will have to adopt a new lifestyle, the first thing that they say, it's going to be difficult. And when you say that it's going to be difficult, yes, your mind will make it difficult for you. So that's why they need to change their mindset. They need to understand that it's not a diet, but it's a lifestyle. And they need as well to be able to surround themselves with a supportive community. Because what I've noticed is that, especially when you are in a couple, and for example, the husband wants to change and the wife doesn't want, usually it's become very, very difficult. So if they can basically surround themselves with a good supportive community, that's a good thing. The second thing that the second step is to adopt a plant-based nutrition where they eat fruit, vegetables, legumes, grain, nuts, and seeds, because all this food, they've got loads and loads of fiber. And when you eat them, it's going to clean up your GI tract. It will make you full quicker, and you will tend to eat less frequently. And when people adopt that, they will be able really to lose weight really effortlessly, and they will be able to basically reverse a lot of chronic diseases. So that's the second step. And the third step is to adopt to incorporate intermittent fasting, because in our society, people eat constantly. There are people who can eat 5-6 meals a day, and that's not the right thing to do. Because people need to understand that when you are constantly eating, your body will have to produce insulin all the time. And basically what will happen is that all these peaks of insulin will create a cellular aging, and you will tend to age very quickly. And as well, when you are digesting food, the body will not be able to produce the human growth hormone. So basically, when the body is digesting, it will produce insulin, and at the same time, it cannot produce the human growth hormone, which is responsible for producing for the growth of all the cells. And what as well people need to understand as well is that when you are doing intermittent fasting, the body will go through a process which is called autophagy. And autophagy is a process where the body eats dead and dying tissues. And all this will really make your body to have a very strong immune system. You'll be able to age very quickly, and you'll be able to live longer. So basically, that's the 3-step process that my clients go through when they sign up with me.
Very good. And I see on your website that you have a free online masterclass.
Yes. So basically, what it is that when people are interested, they can either book a call with me, or they can watch that masterclass. So during the masterclass, I go through all the process that I've just described now. And when people arrive towards the end of the masterclass, if they're interested, they can book now a free discovery call with me. And on the free discovery call, we go through the health, the habits, the current, the routine, the health habits, and all these things. And we see if what's going wrong with them, what they got stuck in the first place, and from that, I introduced them to the three-step process to show them that it's possible to reverse all the health problems. And we see if there's a good fit, then I invite them to work with me. So that's basically the process.
I like it. I like that you have the free online masterclass as the first step, because there's a lot of people that are going to be, skeptical or hesitant. And, you get them in the door, you get them to look at it and to see if it's right for them.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
we will definitely post your links on our comments page so people can go check that out and get involved with the free masterclass.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, how long is the masterclass? A couple hours?
No, the masterclass is an hour. So there's
Okay.
it's a 50 minutes, and the last 10 minutes is just testimonials from past clients.
Mhm.
And I would wonder how many people that watch it say tune probably to make it, if you're going to make halfway through, everyone that would make it halfway through is probably going to call you, I would say, because you're going to lose the people out of the gate that are going to say, I can't do this, or I'm not going to do this. That you're definitely going to have skeptics, and they're just going to leave.
Yeah.
So what's of the people that get you on the phone or talk to you, there's probably people that you just won't take too, isn't there?
Yes.
Do you fire people that you just don't want to work with? This isn't going to work between us.
Yes, I've had a couple of people like that who basically, when I was talking to them during the discovery call, I could feel that they were not interested. For them, it was just the price that was. They were just interested to know the price, and they was really rushing me to go quickly. And at the end, I just told them that maybe there's not a good fit, and the best thing is for you not to waste my time, and for me not to waste your time, so we can just part ways, and that's it. Yeah.
Sure.
Can you tell us a couple of your success stories?
Yes, there was a woman who was, she had 3 kids, she was married, and she was suffering from high blood pressure and diabetes. And she was on 5 different medication. And because of that, she was depressed. She couldn't take care really of her kids, of her husband and stuff. And she was taking a lot of days off sick. And basically, her boss was about to fire her. And that's why she stumbled on my program, and she enrolled, and we worked together. And after 9 months or something, or 12 months, she was able to lose 80 pounds. She was able to reverse all chronic diseases. Basically, she was not on medication anymore, and she was able to go back to her work, and that was really, really great for her. And there was another one who she was suffering from what was it? Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin was very low. She was anemic. And just when she started my program, just after 10 days following that, hemoglobin was higher than what she's been on medication for the rest of her life. For all her life, she was on medication, and hemoglobin was still low. But just by following my program after 10 days, the level of hemoglobin was already higher than what the medication was able to do for her. So, yeah.
I know of a guy, he's become a friend. He's 88 years old, and at 60 years old, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. 2 docs said, hey, you got to get this done. You got to get it cut out, or you got to radiation. He's like, no, I'm going to fix this myself. And he went on this hardcore, probably 95% of your diet, and fish and some other, very lean meats and whatnot. And here, 28 years later, he says, all my doctors are dead. And not one of them talked to me about diet or anything, but I cured my cancer. And I'm not saying that that's, if you have cancer, not to go see a doc, of course, that's up to you. But when you said cancers are fed on sugars, and that to me, I learned that a while back, and I'm like, well, if I have cancer, the first thing I would do was eliminate that. But no one, it may work all the time. It may not. I don't know. I've never done that, but I would certainly give it a shot. But you're never going to hear that from your oncologist.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why?
Because that's not how they're.
I do get it,
yeah.
but it just really makes me sad.
Yeah.
And politically on this side, one thing that RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, was running for president, and his big issue now is pushing that agenda. And recently, we're starting to hear some of this is my wheelhouse. Jim doesn't do any politics or anything. I live it. I mean, I really like knowing what's going on. But there's been a change. I've seen it in the last 6 months or so, that people are becoming more alert and awake and more open to hearing about the poisons in our food. And so that is kind of encouraging. But the steps that you have to take to fight the onslaught of advertising and just every place you go.
That and our whole food system's not set up to feed people healthily. Let's say that, okay, everybody said, all right, I'm going to quit buying all the processed crap and start eating the fruits and vegetables in the store. The shelves would be empty.
They would.
In a week. They'd be gone. It'd be so hard to get any fruits and vegetables because our food system is not set up to provide us those things. They're set up to provide us all the crap in the aisles in between, all the poisons. The whole food
it's
industry.
Like even I've got even my friend, my best friend. I lost my best friend 2 years ago with prostate cancer. And basically what's happened is that I was trying to coach him, to tell him to change his way of eating. He was he really wanted to do that, but his wife was really, really against that. And for I think two years, they wanted to do him to go through chemotherapy and stuff like that, because he did watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and he was able to see that it was not the right way to go. But after 2 years, he had lots of pressure from his wife, his oncologist, and all that, and he started chemotherapy. And as soon as he started that, I think after 2 months, his health started really to decline. Yeah. And after 11 months, he was dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad.
And it's preventable. I mean, the thing about the epidemic of this disease and obesity and mental illness, and it all comes back to diet. But the thing about it is, it could be fixed fast. It could be fixed with a powerhouse public service campaign by the government, and where everything it's not about.
Yeah, but you literally have to change the entire way that we grow food in this country and distribute it. Completely.
Well,
that's not an easy task.
Well, it would happen slowly. But for like for example, the Defense Department, the Department of Defense oversees the school lunch program here in the States. They are the administrator of billions of dollars to feed. And
doesn't that make sense that the Defense Department would feed our children?
Yeah.
So, and there's this big contract that, the school lunch program just signed with Domino's Pizza, one of the most processed food things. Now there's no reason there can't be a school person that goes out shopping locally for stuff like any other company would,
or have it delivered.
But for me, I think that it's going to be difficult for things to change, because for all the research that I've done, as you will see that the pharmaceutical industry is the biggest industry of the world, and they need sick people. They need sick people. So basically, if people just like me, for example, like I've said, for the past 8 years, I've not been sick a single day. If people need to eat like me, basically that industry will crumble. And they don't want that. That's why maybe they need to not give people the right information so that they continue to eat all the bad food. And when they are sick, they will go and buy medication. And when they buy one medication, they're going to give them some side effects. And to combat that, they will have another medication. Right. And they get into this loop. Maybe they will have 10, 20 medication, and it's make them rich. So I don't think that They would like to change that, and the pharmaceutical industry as well has bribed a lot of politicians and stuff like that. So for me, I've got the impression that it's going to be very difficult.
And our news media. I mean, everything they're pumping out to us through the news is sponsored by the pharmaceutical company.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you guys don't have that. Over here, every single TV commercial you'll see on every news show is pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And well, there's no way that they would come out and say anything bad against the people that are paying like 60% of their income. So and there's a drive right now by a Danish company that makes Ozempic that to prescribe to make it available here to kids as young as 6 to combat the obesity problem.
Yeah, fix the problem. Give them some drugs.
They said it could cost as much as $3 trillion a year.
Isn't that crazy? So I love podcasting. I love what we're doing. We're promoting, trying to make the world a better place by promoting people like you. But I also work in the hospital to pay the bills because podcasting isn't paying the bills for sure. It's just a love and a passion right now more than anything. But some of my patients, I'm giving them 20 pills for breakfast. Can you imagine? 20 pills every day. Have your 20 pills. Have your 20 pills.
And there's no son or daughter, somebody saying, come on, how about eat an apple?
And they might not know better. They trust the doctors.
They don't. They trust the doctors.
They trust the doctors because
and the doctors get like a whole 2 weeks of nutritional training in their 10 years of education.
One semester.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I said when I was able to cure myself for my high blood pressure through diet. And when I told that to the doctor, for him, it didn't mean anything. So for them, diet doesn't play a role in people's recovery. For them, it's medication.
You're not part of the treadmill. You got off the treadmill of the pharmaceutical companies. I got off the treadmill. JP's never been on it. But you have to, they love creating lifelong customers at 8 years old.
Yeah. So we're getting close to our time. So, but I want to ask you this question. We started asking it maybe 4 or 5 podcasts ago. Olivier, what are you doing to make the world a better place?
Yeah, what I'm doing to make the world a better place is to share my message, because I think that being sick is a choice. It's possible to live a disease-free life. For example, we've been told that when you grow old, needs to be sick. But in my experience, I've seen that, and for other people that I'm helping, it's not true. Because when I started this process, I was 46. Today, I'm 54. And my health is getting better and better. So I really want people to understand that they can take their health in their own hands instead of leaving that to the family members or the doctors and stuff like that. They can reclaim that. And when they do that, basically they will be able to live a disease-free life. And that's really the message that I would like to transmit to people to make this world a better place.
Beautiful. I love that. So we're promoting people like you. We're trying to get the message out there because that's our mission. We're going to change the world one conversation at a time.
Yeah, it's trying. It's fun too.
It is fun.
I mean, 6 months ago, if you'd have told me, hey, you're going to meet an African guy that lives in the UK, a vegan, and have an hour talk with him, and you're going to enjoy this conversation, I was thinking, yeah, sure. But well, hey, I tell you, we're not done yet, but can we invite you back, like have you back in a few months? We'd love to talk more.
Yes, definitely. If you want to invite me back, I'm all for it. Definitely, I'll come back.
Excellent. And one thing I forgot to ask you about, you're also an author and you've written a book. You want to talk about your book a little bit and promote it?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, my book has got 4 parts. So the first part, I'm trying to
what's the title?
To people the plant-based nutrition, how it's going to change your life. And it's available on Amazon or in my website. So the first part is that I'm trying to show people that we are herbivores. And to be more precise, we are frugivores. For example, when we look at the gorilla, with whom we share 99% of the same DNA. But what do gorilla eat? They eat fruit, vegetables, and tender roots. Gorilla do not eat meat. And
You get protein
basically,
though, because there's lots of bugs on those plants.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't eat meat. And the second part of the book is I try to show people the damage that the animal product, the dairy product, and the processed food can create on the human mechanism. On the third part, I'm explaining my own transformation, the way I've been able to lose all this weight, to reverse all my chronic diseases. And on the last part, because a lot of people keep asking me, okay, what can we do now to be in good health? So for the last part, I'm trying to give people tips and tricks to what they can do to better their lives. For example, to have to go, for example, for trips to have what I'm saying, to be able to go for walks in the park so that they can expose themselves to sunlight, they can breathe fresh air and stuff like that. Or for example, to avoid using the microwave because of all the toxicity, to be able to for example, avoid the sunscreen, just tips like that so that they can really better their lives, to avoid smoking, to avoid coffee, alcohol, the cosmetic product with stuff like the lauryl sulfate and stuff like that, the SLS. So I'm just trying to give them tips like that so that they can really improve their quality of life.
Very good. You mentioned sunscreen, and I think it's funny because people are afraid of the sun and gives them cancer, but they put on sunscreen, which gives you cancer.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that. So it's so funny.
I don't get it.
Well, we learned from the TV.
No, I put it on. Hey, I took metoprolol for a long time, and I put a lot of sunscreen on.
Yeah.
But now I don't ever use it, and I get outside every day. Well, we live in Florida, so we're blessed.
We get a lot of sun.
With lots of sunshine, lots of outdoor activities, and
there was something else you mentioned there, which stuck out to me, and I can't remember what it was. It was towards the beginning of that list you made, but you listed a lot of things really quickly.
If you live up north, I mean, we're coming into winter, and it's October here.
Yeah.
Well, it's October there too. But it's October. It's starting to get cold. And when I lived we both grew up in Michigan, and sometime you're in the house from November to February, and it's tough to get outside and get those UV rays and
and just the angle that the sun's at, you really don't get the amount of light that you need for your body to process into vitamin D anyway.
Right.
So
because a lot of people don't know that when you stay a lot of time inside the house, it's really toxic because of the cleaning products, the hairspray, the perfume, the deodorant, the Wi-Fi, the electrical devices, the electromagnetic frequencies, and all these things are really, really bad for the human mechanism. So it's a good idea to go and go in the nature, to have some fresh air, breathe some fresh air and stuff like that.
That's what it was. You reminded me. It's the microwave, made in Germany. They made it to be able to heat soldiers' food up in the field. And then the way I understand it, Germany banned the microwave because it's so unhealthy, even though they invented it there. And here, we don't have a microwave in our house. We normally don't ever have a microwave anywhere we live, but so many people use it for the convenience factor. I remember once I had someone over to the house and they're like, "You don't have a microwave? How am I going to heat this water up?" It doesn't occur that you put the water in a pan, put it on the stove. It's like,
exactly.
I've never seen any evidence, and I've looked for it, that microwaving it doesn't change. All it does is interact with the water molecules and heat it up. It's just energy. It's energy. It's not radiation.
It definitely denatures your food, and I don't think it does any good to the water either. So
but it may or may not. I just haven't seen any evidence that has convinced me that it changes anything in my food.
Oh.
Yeah, because what you need to understand is that when you press the start button, the molecule forming the food will start moving at an incredible speed, and that movement will create the heat, and the heat will create the the movement will create the friction, and the friction will create the heat. And when you get the food out of the microwave, they will just look like normal food, but the molecular structure of the food will be completely destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you eat microwave food,
He doesn't understand why.
But I don't understand why, and I know about this kind of stuff. So explain how does it change the molecular structure of the food? Just by heating it up and causing vibration.
Yes, because it's moving at an incredible speed, and it will disrupt the primary molecular structure of the food just by doing that. That movement, it's moving at an incredible speed, and that destroys the molecular structure of the food.
Okay, so if I heat up, you're saying if I heat up a plate of broccoli out of my fridge, stick it in the microwave, it will have a different molecular structure than this one over here I have at micro.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And there's evidence of this that I could Google and find this out.
Yes, but not on Google. On Google, there's a lot of you need to go,
I know
for
you got to
example,
dig deep.
Yes.
I know you got to. Okay.
I would recommend go to Google Scholar. You're more likely to find things there.
I'm going to do some research on this, and I hope
Yes, even when you look, you will see that even in Russia in the 70s, the microwave was completely banned because of that. Because when you eat the microwave food, you can get cancer, cataract, high blood pressure, heart disease.
My understanding that the microwave energy only affects the water molecules in whatever you're heating up. In other words, if you put flour in a microwave, it's not going to get hot. There's no moisture in flour. Put zero humidity flour, not something, no water in it, in the microwave. It does not warm up.
I just say go online and find the research. I might even look for you.
No, I'm going to check this out because that's been my understanding.
I mean, there's a reason countries have banned it, and it's for health issues.
I understand that, and I'd like to know what those are and the science behind it, or else I'm not.
I think he just told you.
but are you aware that what I'm saying is correct? Is what I'm saying correct? Is that microwave energy at that frequency only affects the water molecules?
But when you look, for example, at the broccoli, for example, they've got water inside.
For sure.
All this food, yes. So it's going to affect the broccoli because they've got water.
Okay, we'll talk. I'm going to write this down, and I'm going to learn more about this because I'm just not sure, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Well, Olivier, hey, it's really been a pleasure having you on the show. We've really enjoyed the conversation. You're a great guest, and we would love to have you back in the future. And keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, thank you very much for giving people like me the opportunity to be to be able to share my story. And whenever you want me to come back, I'll do that. No problem.
Olivier, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
See ya.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So if you just listen to this podcast and you appreciate the content and the work that we're doing, we would love your support. Look in the comment section of this episode. Subscribe, rate us, comment. This gets our podcast in front of other listeners. And if you noticed, we don't have advertisers. For the cost of a cup of coffee, you can help keep it this way. Become a supporter right now. We'd appreciate it. I'm Jim the Yogi.
I'm Rick the Beach Man.